everyone, I'm Brittany. This is Damian. We're taking it a little bit easy today because Damian is recovering from his first ever surgery. Also, we're twins today. Thought that was important to point out. I wanted to tell you guys all about what we did this week and buckle up because it's a lot. Might even need to split this video into two. The experimental treatment requires that we get a lot of images and scans and testing done before we even get the first dose so that we can have a set baseline. And so I have been pushing super hard to get all of that done this week. Unfortunately, not all of them happened this week, but we did get a lot of them in. On Wednesday, we almost spent all day at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles just jumping from place to place. All over that campus. Huh, Damian? We started in the parking garage so that Damian could get a COVID test, which is required before you get admitted for surgery.
Man, you did so good. You're so brave, bud.
Then we went into the main campus of CHLA, and we went to the radiology department for some chest x-rays. After being in their waiting room for a while, they told us that they didn't have enough equipment on their side, and so they had us go to the other end of the hospital to their other radiology department. And then we waited there for a while and then finally got the x-rays done there. After that, we went to admissions so that we could register for his surgery, all of the financial paperwork and scanning the insurance cards and all of that. Then we went to Damian's pre-operation evaluation. They measured Damian's height and weight, took his temperature, blood pressure, oxygen levels, all the vitals. Damian actually used to hate doing vitals. Like, that was the worst possible thing that you could do with him. But he actually did really good this time. He's either getting used to doing it all the time now, or he was just in a really good mood. So then they gave me a bunch of instructions to prepare for the surgery and where to go, and then answered a bunch of my questions. After the pre-op, we had a nice quiet lunch in a little cute corner of CHLA. I was really hoping that Damian would take a little nap at that point because our last appointment of the day was a behavioral health evaluation, and we really needed him to be fresh for that appointment so that he would behave as normally as possible. He didn't really fall asleep, and so I was kind of nervous about how the appointment would go, but Damian was just in a really good mood that day. I was really impressed, Damian. For that appointment, we went across the street from the main campus to the Saban Research Institute, and there were 3 people there that we met with. We went into this little room that had a table and chairs and a play mat and a couple of toys, and then at that point they actually asked me to leave Damian with them and then go into the room next door. And the room next door had a big window that was like a one-way mirror, so I could see Damian, but Damian couldn't see me. They told me the reason I needed to be out of the room was because they were trying to evaluate what Damian knows and can do all by himself. And if I were there, it's possible that I might influence him in some sort of way, and they don't want any kind of prompts or any kind of look that would maybe skew their evaluation of what he can do for himself. Damian is very social, and he had no problem being with these guys. In fact, I think he loved the exam. He was held on one of their laps pretty much the whole time, and I was watching him, and he was just kicking his little feet, and he was laughing a bunch. They wanted to see what skills he had, so they did a bunch of things like they had a little toy that they put a cloth over to see if he would take the cloth off to get the toy. Or they would hand him a ball and see if he would throw it. Or they'd give him a little toy and see if he could pass it from one hand to the other, things like that. While I was watching him in the other room, they had me filling out on a laptop an 8-part questionnaire. It was a ton of questions. It almost took me the whole time. Each section was relating to a different part of Damian's development. So there was a section on his gross motor skills, fine motor skills, emotional comprehension, social awareness, speech and communication, stuff like that. It was hard. It was a little heavy to fill out just because each question I had to answer with Damian often or usually does this, Damian sometimes does this, or Damian never does this. And a vast majority of the questions I had to answer with Damian never does this, which was tough because most of the things that they were asking Damian used to do. He used to stand. He used to have a bunch of words. He used to point to objects and then say something about it, you know? So it was just kind of hard to have like all of these questions of like, well, Damian used to do that. He used to do that. He used to do that. But we have to take this same test in 3 to 4 months after he's been on this treatment for a while, and we are really hoping that Damian will do much better and we'll see a lot of progress. One of the things that CHLA does before surgery, and I'm sure most surgeons do this, is they contact all of the patient's specialists. So the neurologist, GI specialist, cardiologist, whatever. And they ask if they have any concerns with the scheduled surgery or any special instructions for the surgeon and his team or the parents. At Damian's pre-op that he had, they told me that Damian's pulmonologist came back and said, yes, we'd like Damian to take a certain medication on a nebulizer the day before, the day of, and the day after the surgery. So I followed up with the pulmonologist to ask questions about, specifics, because we had never used his nebulizer before. The doctor was surprised we had never used it, and so he went over all of my questions, what the medicines were, why they were helpful for his upcoming surgery, and we talked about the medication that the doctor wants us to use regularly moving forward. So I felt good about all of it, but oh my goodness, using this nebulizer for the first time was an adventure. Have to pay back, honey. That's for sure. Okay, well, we're just gonna try it. Turning it on. You're supposed to be relaxed, honey. There you go. You're doing good, honey. You look like a little elephant. The little elephant on your face. No. You're doing so good, honey. We don't have to do this again for another 6 hours. As you can imagine, I am thrilled that we get to use this now 2 times every single day. Damian hates it, obviously, right now, but we've used it a bunch of times already, and he gets a little less apprehensive about it each time, so I think he'll get used to it. Yeah. Mwah. Should we talk about your surgery now? Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to talk all about Damian's surgery next.